Hello, my name is Christine O'Connor, and I'm going to be doing a presentation for English 314 on how to make stained glass artwork. If you're a beginner, it is important to pick a pattern that you'll be capable of finishing. Start with a simple piece. In stained glass, it is easier to make cuts that are straight, so I recommend picking a piece that has a lot of straight pieces, like the example. Count the number of individual glass pieces that are in the subject. Usually it's ideal to stick to 20 or less pieces to keep your project simple and manageable. Choosing the glass is probably the most fun part of a stained glass artwork. There's two specific types of glass, cathedral glass and opalescent glass. Cathedral glass is see-through and it comes in all sorts of different colors. Opalescent glass also comes in all sorts of different colors, but you are unable to see through it. Once you'll decide if you want to go through opalescent or cathedral glasses, there are varying other types of things to consider. For example, what kind of texture would you like on the glass? Do you want waves? Do you want ripples? Do you want it to be smooth? Streaky glass is when two different colors are mixed together to create a streaking phenomena. Seedy glass is when there's been bubbles that are dried into the glass as the stained glass is made. Another thing to consider is where your stained glass art will be hung. Different light changes the way that the glass is perceived. I recommend holding your glass up to the light where it will hang next to the other colors you may be using to see what it will look like in context. It's important to gather everything you need for a piece before you start. You will need sharp scissors to cut out your pattern. You will need glass cutting pliers called running pliers and grozer pliers that nip away at the glass. You will need a glass cutter, there are many varieties out there, and you will need a glass grinder. You'll need to collect the copper foil to wrap the glass in, and you'll need a soldering iron with at least an 80-watt capacity or better. The solder that you need for the iron is a 60-40 mixed solder. You will need flux capable of working with copper, and for safety gear you will need glasses to protect your eyes and gloves to protect your hands. Cutting the glass is the most challenging part of working with glass. You're going to cut up your pattern so that you have all of the individual pieces. You will label them alphabetically or numerically, some way that you can keep track of them. Then you will transfer the pattern onto the glass by using a marker. Make sure that you keep the glass on its flattest side on the bottom so that when you cut the glass, you're going to diminish the chances that you will break the glass. Keep the surface clean and even before you begin cutting. When you use your glass cutter, the important thing is to keep it in a smooth, even, and continuous motion all the way to the end of the glass. By using the glass cutter, what you're really doing is creating a score or a weak point in the glass. After you've created your score, you're going to use your running pliers to apply pressure upwards on the score and downwards on both sides of it in order to hopefully break the glass evenly along the score. You will run your glass cutter along the lines of your patterned piece that you have etched into the glass. In doing this, you will get a very near rendition of the size of glass that you want to use for your piece. It will usually be a little bit bigger or a little rougher than you intended. That's what the glass grinder is for. After you've cut most of the glass off, you'll finish up using the glass grinder and wearing off the rough edges and making sure that it fits the size that you would like. Soldering the artwork is what keeps it together. The first thing you're going to want to do is make sure to wash all of your glass and make sure it's clean and free of any debris. Then you're going to apply the copper wire to the outside of the glass. The copper wire has an adhesive back strip. You'll remove the paper and apply the adhesive side to the glass sides. Once you wrap the entire piece of glass in the copper foil, push down all the sides on the end and make sure that it's as tight as possible. Once you've wrapped all of your pieces in copper, you will you will put them all together, how they will sit in the final piece. You can create a frame to keep them all in piece using safety pins or wood and clamps, something that when you begin soldering, that the pieces will keep where they are and they won't move. To use the soldering gun, you're going to plug it in and heat it up to its full capacity. You'll take the soldering iron and you'll put it over the joints of the glass, the places where the glass meets on the side. You'll take your solder and you'll put it up against the tip of the soldering iron until the solder turns into beads that will fall in between the cracks of the glass. You'll continue doing this until all the cracks are filled. Use the soldering gun to run over the beads until they're nice and smooth, even, and appealing to the eye. You'll place the object on its side and you'll work around the edges to make sure that the side is sealed and that everything is joined together. Once the solder is cooled, you're going to take the glass piece and you're going to wash it in warm water. It's really important to do this so that you can get all of the chemicals and all of the solder off of it, and so the glass will be clean and as beautiful as it's intended to be. Find a nice sunny place to hang your piece and enjoy the art of stained glass. Thank you very much.